Good morning, everybody. This is Mary Catherine at my own little house. And today's video may be a little bit short. I'm going to fill you in on all the stuff I've been working on in the past week since my last video. The first thing is that I made another pair of smittens. That was the last thing I showed you. And these are the ones that I made this time. And I'll show you what they look like on my hands. And the crazy yarn that I used was thrift store yarn, and didn't have a label or anything. I know it's acrylic, but it was so nice to find a use for it that looked pretty good. So that's my second pair, and I'll keep on working. I need to find another old yarn sitting around I can use. The other thing I've been doing is continuing to spin with the Malabrigo Noob, and it's turning out really nice. Here's a look at what it is on the bobbin so far. This is the single, and then here are the long strands of fiber that I tore off a long piece, and then I split that long piece into very narrow strips, and I'm spinning from that, and I don't really have to pull it open or anything. It works really well. So I think that's going to turn out pretty good. I'm pleased with the color. It's fascinating to me how the color on the bobbin doesn't really look anything like what it is in the fiber. And the other thing I worked on the last few days was sorting more of my fabric scraps, these long strips of scraps that I work with to do the log cabin. I still love the log cabin, I really do. And I've decided, I had one lady ask me if I would make a table runner with Christmas scraps. And so I've got a couple of balls of, it almost looks like one of those cakes of Christmas colored scraps. And I'm going to be thinking about doing that for her. And then I started to collect autumn scraps of fabric that went well together. And I'm going to make a table runner of those, I think for a friend of mine. Who loves autumn stuff. So I've got a couple of those in mind. I made another one a week or so ago. I don't know if I showed you that one. Maybe I'll put a picture of it here. And it turned out pretty well. It hasn't sold yet. I took it to the market, but it hasn't sold yet. And another thing I did was to order some more of my little cards. And I ordered ones that have sold well. My sunflower card, a blue flower that I painted for my daughter-in-law's birthday a couple of years ago, my violets, and the jellyfish card. Surprisingly, people loved the jellyfish. I don't know why. They're kind of mean. Another one that has sold better than I thought was my negative leaves painting. I turned that into some cards, and that was a fascinating thing to paint. And as I was considering the autumn colored table runner with fabric, I thought, I wonder if I should paint a 9x12 autumn leaves in negative painting. And I thought, that's a good idea. And I really enjoyed doing that painting. So I think I may be into doing that too and see how it turns out. And that, by the time I get it done and printed, it'll probably be past autumn, but maybe they'll be popular. One last thing is a book I finally finished. And I must confess, my reading habits have just dropped off of the cliff in the last 4 years or so. But this book really helped pick them back up. And this is a book by, I think you say her first name, Gaio Marsh. That's a New Zealand name, her first name. But she's a murder mystery writer, very much in the line and at the same time as Agatha Christie. And that was a really great book, and it kept me going. I'd rather read that than watch a show or watch a YouTube. I kept on going back and reading, and I haven't had that feeling in a long time about a book. So I thought I would recommend her as a writer. She was recommended to me by a very avid reader who's a friend of mine, and I was quite pleased. Now, I have a little bit of sad news. We had kind of a hard week or weekend at our home. It started off kind of happy. Last Friday morning, my husband took the dogs out really early, like 4:45, walked on the back deck, turned the light on, and there was a teeny little kitten there. Well, this morning, Adam had a little surprise on the back porch early in the morning in the dark with the dogs. Tricky let him know something was there. And this is what was there. I don't know what his or her name is yet because I don't know if it's a boy or girl. Kind of bony, but also with that fat baby belly. The eyes are fully developed and colored, so it's not a teeny kitten. But it's Friday, and our vet's office is closed on Friday, so we're going to need to wait till Monday till we take the kitty in. The left back leg has got something going on with it because he won't put his weight on it. Don't know what's going on with that. But looks like Leo is going to have a friend after all. We've been thinking about getting another cat. Okay, you don't want to see me. There he is. I love a tabby. This is a grayish brown tabby. Oh, he's making little noises. Green eyes. I love green eyes. Leo has kind of golden eyes. So I've given him a bath. He's had some naps and some water and some time in the litter box. And so I went and got some kitten food and some soft food and all that stuff. And he had a lot to eat. I think he was hungry. He's kind of bony around his neck and shoulders. And we'll let our vet check out that back leg and give him all of his shots and get him anything he needs. Say hello, Clemmy. I think Teddy ended up being about 6 weeks old though, but he was small and hungry and bony. And my husband brought him in and said, please. And I said, sure. And he was beautiful. Here are some pictures of Teddy that I took. I love his coloring. I think he might be called a mackerel tabby, but he's got a black nose and black little toe beans, they call them, his toe pads, and black striping, kind of darker striping, which I really like, with some gray and some brown in there. He was just gorgeous and precious and quiet. But he also had an injury. He was obviously a feral wild kitten, but very sweet. And he had an injury to his back left hip, and didn't know what that was. So the vet wasn't open until Monday, which was 2 days ago. And we took him in. He was there all day long. He did have a leg break. At first they were confused by that break, but they took an x-ray, and he did have a very bad break, and they were willing to amputate the leg because the bone was just floating in his hip. But then they did do a test for feline immunodeficiency virus, FIV, and he tested positive. And a small percentage of cats in the population test positive. He probably got it from his mother in utero. But if a cat has that, they should not be around another cat that doesn't, or they'll transmit it. And of course, we have Leo in the house. I have to think about Leo. So we really were not able to bring him home. And the vet recommended, with his injury and the amputation, and there's no place around that would take him. No cattery, no animal shelter, nobody. They're all full, and they wouldn't take a cat with FIV. So she recommended, and we did allow her to put him to sleep, which was absolutely crushing. I haven't cried in ages, but I cried over Teddy. I had become really attached to him over the weekend, and just had opened up a spot in my heart and was ready even to have a 3-legged cat and take care of him, of course. So that was just such a hard thing to have happen all of a sudden, that bad news on Monday evening. So we did go down to the vet's office and we said goodbye, and I held him one last time, and he knew he was loved, and he was comfortable and fed and taken care of in his final few days. But to be honest, that wasn't enough for me. But of course, you learn to accept these things, and I was just amazed. I was so upset about a kitten. But I just wanted to tell you about Teddy, and remember Teddy. Nobody should be forgotten, not even a little kitten. So that's what's happening this week. I hope you've just enjoyed this little visit into our week. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you next week.